Again,
Like
still a
Black.
first to 7.
Yes, all of top 8 will be first to 7, so we have a lot of good matches coming in.
All right, so already you can kind of see things are going to be a little bit slower for this one. We're gonna have some time to talk about things, take our breath a little bit. Some nice T-spin offense coming through.
Quite rushing through too much.
It's crazy how the soundtrack in this game can sometimes guess how the game's going to go. We had a very frenetic track in the previous round, and here just some chill jazz.
Chilling out. Yeah, but this being said, both these players are actually pretty good. You can see that both of them are trying to stack very flat. They're trying to convert off of anything that they can.
Yeah, Mike actually going for some
getting
combos
a decent
during his dig.
combo damage. Building up his field a little bit more.
Yeah, sees that there isn't a ton of offense coming from his opponent, so knows that they have a little bit of time to, build up a bit of offense before needing to burn. But that being said, the difference in field, and again, that's where the levels can come in, where if you are only focusing on your field, you only have half the information.
Yeah, it's true. Whereas if you're watching your opponent, you'll know exactly when damage might be coming in and when to actually hold off on sending to your opponent. But if all you're doing is holding, you're just going to be taking damage and you're not going to be returning anything, and you might get yourself stuck, kind of like what happened last round.
Yeah, it can definitely be risky if you don't have the raw speed to kind of allow yourself to make those extra mistakes. It's something I talk about a lot when I talk about this game, that speed doesn't mean you're going to win, but speed will allow you the opportunity to make more mistakes.
Oh, and Sunflower having a lot of pressure on right now. They're going to have to figure out how they want to dig through all of this.
Yeah, a lot of dependencies in this dig.
Yeah, it's looking pretty clean now, but they I think are looking for a good way to convert into meaningful damage to their opponent. And Mike having kind of a similar issue right now.
Yeah, just finally get their well back open. And there's the offense coming through. You see that little red indicator at the bottom, and okay, I need to make something happen right now. And Sunflower Mochi just, again, that dig, not quite what they were looking for. MikeisMyIke tying things up.
Yeah, the moment that gauge turns red, you gotta be making moves.
All right, my favorite opener in the game, Mike going for the DT cannon, but misdrops!
It misses! But it's still, you could do something with it, I'm sure.
This is definitely convertible. Yeah, they find a way to open things up, but man, that's even the opening bag that I get all the time.
Yeah, DT cannon is a very common opener to learn for a lot of new players as well. This is very fast, it's very reliable damage, and there's a lot of different ways that you can open into it too, so you're not very bag dependent. And Sunflower is in a really tough spot here, but
that being said, though,
can get the dig. Unfortunately, they're
needed to swap back.
Unfortunately, had to deal with that damage right away, but couldn't find an answer with that S piece.
Yeah, and when we talk about defense in this game, it's not just about being able to play quickly enough in order to keep yourself alive. It's also about making sure that when you dig, you're setting yourself up so that you don't have to dig further. Yeah, and Sunflower Mochi kind of ran into that, where they dropped a piece that put more blocks over the well that they were going to need to dig down to.
Oh, Mike going for some combo damage here.
Yeah, that being said, though, mitigated quite nicely on the side of Sunflower Mochi.
Yeah, in fact, had to take some damage in return and doesn't have a ton in regards to returning damage. Ooh,
bit of a misdrop, but definitely recoverable.
Yeah. This is not the end for Mike.
Again, just kind of using the speed to just burn through, get themselves back into a more manageable position. And speaking of manageable, sets themselves up into a T-spin conversion.
Yeah, no, that's a great spot to be in. Anytime that you can convert your garbage into T-spins, or anytime you can convert your digs into that, or even Tetrises, that is absolutely a spot that you want to be, and that's how you turn the tides back to your side.
Yeah, Sunflower Mochi been a bit on the back foot here, but has some offense ready to go. Sets himself up for the dig as well, and this is what we mean. You want to be looking forward during your dig. Mike's going to need to burn down.
Ooh.
Bit of a misdrop, another
Mike
misdrop.
Blocking his well, and that's a really unfortunate way to block yourself.
Do they have the speed to come back? No.
unfortunately misses the tease piece, and unfortunately that's going to be 2-2 from Mike.
Yeah, all tied up here. Yeah, recognizes the DT cannon opener, but forgets to swap back.
Putting out the inputs a little too quickly, unfortunately. Doesn't get the swap input quite soon enough.
That being said, though, they have an opportunity to convert into something more, but they're just prioritizing the dig. Definitely agreed on that front. Don't want to, you definitely need to fix the mistake of, the spot you've put yourself in early on. And with that, leaving themselves with a pretty clean board. But speaking of clean boards, the side of Sunflower Mochi is absolutely immaculate.
Sunflower is in a great spot right now. Sunflower is able to build either super flat on the side, or if they want, they can go for different T-spin setups as they build. Kind of interesting what they're going for. That might be a misdrop on Sunflower's side.
Mike's was doing a very good job of keeping the stack nice and low. And again, will be able to convert through this. Just a matter of, again, planning ahead for the dig.
Passes up the T-spin from Sunflower.
Has the well open now, so they should be feeling a little bit better. And the pressure here on Mike does have a pretty good bag to dig out of this.
Yeah, no, this is an excellent bag. You definitely don't want to get caught with double ZNSs, kind of like that. But 2-3.
Yeah, and as the account level would lead you to believe, this has been a pretty close series so far. Okay, does he hit his T-spin?
Yeah,
okay,
this is the T-spin setup. This is what we like to see.
DT cannon this time. 9-second DT cannon, pretty good.
Yeah, anytime that you're able to set up a, I guess a combo of damage to your opponent before they're able to towards you, that's a great spot to be in most times.
Yeah, anytime that you can kind of put the pressure on your opponent, force them onto the back foot, even just a little bit, throw them off of, their practice rhythm like we were talking about before. Nice adjustment on the dig there from Sunflower Mochi. Mike, though, also with a great dig.
Yeah, Mike has an absolutely fantastic field right now. Has the option to kind of just keep building.
Yeah, sets him up with a bit of a dependency, but able to just burn through it. Has the opportunity to convert.
With the misdrop.
Yeah, still convertible, just opting to clean out the field. And this is kind of where the game can find itself when players are both at a similar level. This is, believe it or not, kind of a similar story to the match we last saw. Obviously not at quite the same frenetic
Not quite
pace.
as fast, but like both players are probably at a similar skill level as the two players in our previous set were.
Yeah, in terms of relative skill to each other.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Mike finally feeling a little bit more comfortable building up into a T-spin conversion before immediately looking to clean the well.
Yeah, Mike having a little bit of a tricky situation, but you know what? Has some options to play with here.
Yeah, had a T-spin opportunity there, but given how high their stack was, I don't blame them for not opting for it. A lot of damage coming in, though, on the side of Sunflower Mochi.
And tying it up, 3-3.
Super back and forth. You could see they weren't quite expecting that much damage at the time. A little bit, gets them a little bit frazzled, unable to find their way out of the spot. And again, things all tied up.
Yeah, Mike's going to be taking a little bit of damage, but you know what? If you're about to
DT cannon in the back and doesn't opt for it, maybe miss the spin, I'd have to imagine.
I saw Mike do the first spin and then accidentally kick back the opposite direction. You hate to see it.
Well, I think he might have converted that into a TST, but that might be a little too crazy for Mike. TST conversions are not easy.
No, and they can be quite risky too. T-spin triples setups, they don't leave you in a fantastic spot afterwards.
They need a lot of space as well.
Yeah, and so I can't blame anyone for not opting to do a triple.
Yeah, T-spin doubles, definitely the most space-efficient way to send damage, and also the most easy to transition both in and out of.
Yeah, transitioning into a triple could be actually not too bad, but transitioning out of a triple, she can be an absolute nightmare.
All right, clean wells on both players' sides. Like a little bit higher stack right now, but garbage looking nice.
You know, it's not looking too bad for Mike. Mike actually has a pretty good situation if he can get through this one dependency.
All right, gets
good
through
Tetris.
Yeah, and that unfortunate misdrop on the eye tries to get a spin in, but unfortunately the geometry not going to allow that. That being said, though...
Yeah, this is great damage from Mike, and that's going to be 4-3. Mike going for the... he kind of risked his field, built up his T-spin, and opted to go for Tetris into T-spin. Oh, could this be a setup?
I was wondering if they were looking for a perfect clear, but...
Yeah, that's kind of how it was looking at the very start. I know it was the bag to go for it. For those that don't know, anytime you have a certain order of your items, it's possible to do a certain setup where you have a 74% chance of getting an all clear every time.
Yeah, you can try and force it with setups that will leave you in the same spot, but it'll leave you with a little bit lower chance. Again, the 7-bag randomizer is kind of the thing determining whether or not your all clear will actually succeed.
Yeah, and you may say, bring up the argument of randomness in competitive games, but oh, Mike closing his well with the T-piece there.
Yeah, just unable to exactly get the dig that they were looking for. Tried to convert it into some offense, but with a stack that high, it can get a little bit greedy if you're not carefully watching the opponent's field.
Oh, this could be a T-spin triple, actually, yeah, and that's what
he's looking for it.
Oh, but closes it off. Yeah, I think he's realized kind of what's happened here.
Yeah, you need that 3-wide slot for you to drop the T in before you can spin it in for the triple.
Yeah, and so with T-spin double, you don't have to worry about a roof over the setup afterwards, whereas like with a T-spin triple, that's something that you're always going to have to deal with. So either you have to deal with a fast dropping it, so like having the block drop space by space, or you just have to clear the one line and lose out on a lot of damage.
Okay, they have the dig though, and they have the opportunity to convert, but I don't blame them for not looking at it.
They passed over it. I also can't blame them. Oh, and this is going to be great
right
damage
back on sunflower mochi, and sometimes all it takes is that one dig. That one dig gets you. It not only reverses the entire situation where your stack is now clean, but if you can combo your dig correctly, it also begins to put a lot of damage in. Yeah, classic DT cannon setup.
Oh, misdrops it, but you know what? That's not the worst spot. It's still 2 T-spin doubles.
Yeah, leaves themselves with a reasonable field as well. Meanwhile, the side of sunflower mochi
still, or like, has a lot of pressure on Mochi's side. And this is great for Mike because Mike has all the time in the world to build up this damage.
Yeah, Mochi forced to dig out of here, but Bag's looking good for said dig.
And like that, the tides kind of turn. As soon as you get a meaningful like row of garbage, you can come right back into this game.
Yeah, some misdrops from Mike, but you can kind of see in these longer matches, endurance, especially at this level, can play a huge part. Sunflower Mochi slowing down a bit in comparison, and also you can kind of see the decision fatigue starting to set in.
Yeah, both players are taking a little bit longer to make their decisions. Kind of the similar to what the start of the set was, where both players were kind of waking up. Now both players are already getting probably more or less tired.
All right, Mike with a clean stack.
Throwing some light punches to each other.
Yeah, nobody able to really build up meaningful damage. They both have a Tetris wall open, just going to negate it on both sides. Mochi with a bit more offense right now, but Mike able to dig down to it.
Yeah, if Mochi wants, Mochi can actually build up a well either in the middle or what they're opting for is the side of their field to get to that big well in the middle. And that would have created a lot more damage, but at higher risk.
Yeah, there is a lot of the decision making of risk reward in this game, where do you just burn your field in order to keep yourself in a safe place but not send as much damage, or do you take that risk to build up a stronger attack, running the risk, of course, that if your opponent sends you something that you may not be able to clear out in time, it could be.
And usually it's very common to go the more risky route, but at that point it's very speed dependent. And are you willing to bet that, hey, I'm faster than my opponent in this moment?
Mike, though, converting into a very clean stack here.
Yeah, good Tetris from Mike. This is going to put him in a great spot. Mochi
Bit of a misdrop
with
from
an
Mochi,
unfortunate
but
misdrop.
this is recoverable. Sets them up with a T-spin as well. Yeah, didn't have a T for another 3 or 4 pieces. Wasn't quite paying attention to the rest of the bag.
Oh, this could be a triple from Mochi, but passes it up.
Yeah, a triple with your stack this high is
It's a little risky, but I mean, you know what? If you're trying to
it's
make
definitely
some
the highlight play, but it is definitely a sketchy play.
But you know what? Sometimes that's what you need to do to kind of clutch up. And Mochi's
Yeah,
in a really
speaking of
rough
clutch
spot
up,
here.
though, this is going to be hard
Ooh.
to come out of. I've seen people find their way out of
Absolutely
these
possible.
spots.
Ooh. Oh, still in it.
Staying alive.
Mochi
Finds her way into a dig.
still alive.
Is this the reversal?
And this could absolutely be what Mochi needs to take this game back.
Yeah, and look at Mike's field. Mike's field is so dirty.
Yeah, the speed of the game is getting higher now. We're over almost to 3 minutes, so the pieces are dropping a lot faster passively. So that puts a lot more pressure on the players.
Yeah, you can see the pace of the drops also becoming much more frenetic in comparison to earlier portions of the game. Finds the slot that they were looking for.
Oh, this could be a really good Tetris from Mochi, actually, if they get the pieces that they want.
Yeah, bad bag though.
Oh,
Would have been
this
13
is
without.
Mike.
6 to 5. This has just been back and forth.
Mochi keeping themselves in the bracket. Again, this is the losers half of the bracket, so whoever loses here is
You're out.
getting 8th place.
Well, I mean 7th. Nobody exactly gets 8th in a double
It's
bracket,
true.
but all right, but yeah, kind of a similar story from what we've seen. Both players, the ability to, stack clean and flat. The digs have been good. It's definitely just going to come down in these last couple of rounds here.
Yeah, Mochi's
to who
kind of in
can
a really
outlast.
rough spot. If Mike sends a lot of damage, that's going to spell trouble for Mochi. And Mochi's creating a lot of dependencies in this build right now.
Yeah, this
and a
dig is
lot
going
of
to be
negative
challenging
space.
to get out of in a meaningful way.
Could this be the tournament life for Mochi here? Mochi finding some of the pieces they need.
Yeah, and in spots like this, you can see that Mike isn't exactly looking at it at their opponent's field, because if they saw themselves in that spot, they had a Tetris well open, just sending that nice chunk of damage. Could have stud the game, but instead just opting to continue clearing their own field. That situational awareness so difficult, especially this late into a set.
Mochi's in a little bit better of a spot, but the situation is still rough. You never want to be in this.
Well, they have a piece that they need, but they need to burn one more. Unable to.
Oh, and their build just keeps getting higher. Clutch! Oh!
Not quite enough.
That's gonna
Admirable
be...
performance from Mochi right at the end. Really holding on, but just the field a little bit too dirty. The dig unable to come through.